What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So today, I must confess that I am now a believer. You know, I kind of doubted it for quite some time, and I had seen them in person, but seeing it in the collection is another thing. It's always kind of hard when you see it at someone else's place in bad lighting, and then you get it, and then you compare it to your own statues, and you're like, yeah, that's freaking night and day difference. But I am now a believer in JND Studios. Seeing Catwoman in the collection in comparison to my other statues and just how incredibly intricate, detailed, lifelike it is, it's made me become a believer. So I've actually gone ahead and decided to keep Catwoman and not sell her. I've refunded my buyer, and instead I'm actually selling Prem 1. Now, I still like Prem 1. I think it's a great statue, and if I had ultimate space, I would actually just keep it. I actually really like it like this. I think that looks amazing. You know, and I could display that goggles down, this one with the goggles. Well, goggles down and then goggles up. And I'd have this as a completely separate display, actually. However, due to space constraints, I do not have space to do this. So we have to let go of Prime 1. So this is officially for sale. This is the exclusive edition. No issues. And we're pricing it just at retail. $9.99 shipped. So retail, free shipping, no tax. For, you know, it's a 500 EX, sold out, long sold out. And now you can get it for retail with free shipping. So killer deal. So if you are interested in Catwoman Prime 1, do contact me. She stands at 31 inches tall. And about 16, 17 inches wide and deep. But we're keeping JND. Now, the way I'm doing JND is I'm having her on a riser. This is not the final riser. This was just to get her to the proper height. Because the idea is to have her foot same height as Batman. Because then I believe it is less, you know, noticeable how much smaller she actually is. You know, because Batman stands really tall in his base. But comparing the two, you know, if you look at the top of her goggles, they go to right above his eye line. If you look at movie stills, that is about the proper height. So if anything, I would say Prime 1 is overscaled in comparison to the Batman. And when you compare the head sizes, consider you put a full cowl on top of the head, I think it is appropriately scaled. You know, or maybe this is like, you know, I'll just call it 5% underscaled in comparison. But that's not too big of a deal to make me want to, like, not pair it together. Nevertheless, I'm a believer in JND. So what does that mean for the Flankster cave? Wow, it's another rabbit hole is what it is. Once you go down a rabbit hole, you're committing a lot of space, a lot of money. I'm not the type of person that just gets one statues and calls a day when there's a line of them. Now, looking at the line of JND, you have, you know, Bale Batman, you have Christian, like, where you have the Bale Batman where it's, you know, he's actual bat suit, and then you have the double pack. You have the JND Arthur Fleck, the Joker, you know, which I saw, and I still actually like my Prime 1 Joker better. I think Prime 1 Blitzway is not too far behind from JND. I think Prime 1, when they do the collabs with Blitzway, are, you know, like, let's say this is 100%. I'd put this at like 90 to 95%. And then the old Polystone where Prime 1 sculpted it is probably more like 80%. You know, so I think Prime 1's doing a great thing collabing with Blitzway and all their newer movie pieces. Because there's definitely quite a big sculpt difference, quality difference. You know, like that Joker is freaking phenomenal. And definitely, in my opinion, the best Joker out there, bar none. You know, I still like it more than JND. Definitely like it much more than Queen. And it actually does pair pretty good with JND's. I feel like it's a little bit more appropriately scaled, where Prime 1's always been overscaling their statues. And I feel like the overscaling started with the Justice League line that made all these statues 3 feet freaking tall. You know, where a typical 1/3 ideally should be between, I mean, depending on the base size, 26 to 31 inches tall. So me keeping Catwoman, what does this mean? So it means I'm definitely going to get a few more JND. Now, I believe when you go down any rabbit hole, there must be rules set. You know, for me, it's the girls. you know, I love the DC women. They're, in my opinion, just some of the most gorgeous actresses out there. I love their characters on screen, you know, and you do have to separate art and movies from personal life. So, you know, because I don't even follow really movie stars like personal life. I just care about how well they did as the character, how, you know, how great they look, and, you know, how I felt about them. I loved Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. By far, still my favorite Catwoman. She is my Catwoman. I didn't grow up. I mean, I grew up, and I probably saw it, but I didn't become attached to the old Catwoman from the old Batman, Michelle Pfeiffer version. I don't care for Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, in all honesty. I watched that movie like 6 months ago. Don't care. I saw the new Zoe one from the Pattinson movie. She's all right. Wouldn't collect a statue from her. I also saw the Halle Berry Catwoman. Don't give a crap. That is my Catwoman. Always will be. I freaking love Anne Hathaway. I think her face is freaking perfect. I love her. So she's my Catwoman to display. Now, Wonder Woman, of course, I never watched the original Wonder Woman. Don't care. My Wonder Woman is Gal Gadot. And I have a lot of Wonder Woman now. I got a Queen bust, an On Horse, which is my favorite statue, and the Justice League. And I thought, well, if I'm going down the JND rabbit hole, of course I want a Wonder Woman, because I want an ultimate, detailed, hyper-realism Wonder Woman. Now, I am still hunting down Infinity Studios' Wonder Woman bust. If I get it, more than likely, I'd probably actually have to sell Queen. 1, to fund it, 2, to create space. And I couldn't fit this Wonder Woman elsewhere. And in reality, you only need 1 silicone of a character. You do not need 2 silicones. So I would part ways with Queen, and I do the same thing that Mike did, buy the Queen shield to display with Infinity. I think that was smart of Mike. Now, I could never sell Wonder Woman a horse, even though, like, JND is obviously hyper-realism and whatnot. This Wonder Woman horse is still absolutely gorgeous for so many reasons. The sheer presence, the concept. I still think it's a beautiful face. I do love this sculpted hair, the way it's flowing, because you can't get that with real hair. Real hair is either going to be curly or straight down. That's kind of it. You're not going to get that flow motion, you know, and I think overall the general detail in this piece is phenomenal. So I don't ever plan to sell this. I would sell that if I get Infinity, and I like Infinity substantially more. That is the case, I'd sell that. Now, the Justice League line. I absolutely love this line. I think they look phenomenal together, and I really don't want to break it up. Like, let's say I get the new JND Wonder Woman, which is severely overpriced. Would I get rid of this one? No. They would play different purposes. This Wonder Woman is part of my Justice League 1/3 scale line, and I want to have that complete line because I think it's going to be phenomenal when it's all said and done. I don't plan to get Black Suit Superman, no space, and I do not like having the same statue with a swap out color scheme. I hate that. I'll never do that. But the idea is, you know, and I just moved them back, but I'm going to do some Photoshops on my Facebook group, Flankster Statue Collector, so be sure to join. But all this Justice League can more or less kind of end right about there. When I squeeze them together and do up, down, up, down, up, down, it still looks good. That gives sufficient space for 3 additional statues here, which would be Steppenwolf, Darkseid, Black Adam. Then you come over here, which is Suicide Squad, and we'd scoot Harley over, actually. But we would do Infinity, Margot Robbie bust here. And then this guy is just going to go right behind Joker. Like that, Deadshot. So we still have the entire Suicide Squad line. We add Infinity bust. We complete the Justice League line, and we get Shazam and Black Adam. I feel like that would complete this setup, all Prime 1 with Infinity busts, ideally Infinity Wonder Woman. So we have 4 Infinity busts, all Prime 1 studios, all matching scales. Perfect. Come over here. Now, that Aquaman is sold. It's on a payment plan currently. But the idea here is, of course, we'll sell this Catwoman, which does kind of like incomplete the line of having matching bases and whatnot, which I do hate. But at the end of the day, JND does take priority. But Joker will go here. Infinity Joker bust is going to go here. We'll scoot this over slightly. And then because of how small the bases are on the JND, I could fit 3 JND from there to about there. And so what I do is I do Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Mara. The 4 of my top 5 women. The only other one I would want to add to that list is Black Widow. Now, if JND did a Black Widow 1/3, or heck, even Prime 1 in a similar style, or Queen Studios in a similar style, you betcha I'm buying that instantly. You know, because then that's my top 5. My top 5 favorite female actors in Hollywood. Like, most attractive. So I would definitely get a Black Widow. Even if it's a different universe, don't care. I would do my 5 favorite. So that is more or less kind of my vision now. You know, I've gone down this rabbit hole, but I'm not doing males. And for DC, I'm only doing the 4 females, my 4 favorite. And like I said, I'd get a Black Widow. Now, if JND makes other movie statues, will I get it? Depends on the character, but yes. Like, if they made a 1/3 Arnold battle damaged with silicone hyperrealism, of course I'd get it. I would get Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Troy 300. You know, pretty much all my old sideshow old school, I would get in a JND format. You know, so, you know, I doubt JND's going to do anything I could relatively put in here. I would definitely get a Khaleesi and a Megan Fox from Transformers. I think that's kind of it. But for the most part, I do want to stick to the females outside of the most iconic characters from me growing up, you know, like Harrison Ford's Indiana, Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, when you compare J&D to, let's say, the likes of ECC, how much better is it? Now, ECC conceptually is definitely far better. When it comes to, the only thing I think J&D has on top of ECC is the silicone. You know, otherwise, I think ECC 1/3 are on par. You know, when it comes to like clothing detail, base detail, foot detail, everything else, the eyes are equally as good. I think it's just the silicone that's a little bit better than this translucent resin. Otherwise, I will say ECC, you know, is as good, but conceptually far better. You know, and I would, if I had the chance to pick up the same character in a J&D or an ECC format for the same price, I would still choose ECC due to the concept, far superior bases. You know, but I think for the most part, if you want a hyper realism, realistically meaning you take Anne Hathaway's Catwoman from the movie, you shrink her down 3 times, that is what you're getting on your display, more or less. It can't get any more accurate, any more detailed than this when it comes to a 1/3 scale statue. I think it's the most detailed statues out there. You know, now I still think like Infinity Studios' bust is equally as impressive when it comes to detail and realism. And this is in a much bigger format. You know, it's like you can appreciate the silicone more because of how big it is. You know, this is a full-size person, half torso. To see the Catwoman, like, you know, pores, you got to get real close. You know, it's like, it's hard to even capture it in photos. You know, it is there, but it's hard to capture in camera and photos. I mean, photos more better, but it's hard to see it, you know, in comparison to a life size. So I think in general, life size is the way to go for silicone, but silicone 1/3 is the best possible realistic statue you can get out there. So J&D is definitely killing it. So I've already pre-ordered Harley, and I plan to pre-order Mara and Wonder Woman, even though that price just is brutal, but you got to bend over for J&D if you want the best of the best. So that is the Flankster plan. I am a believer. Mike and John were right. However, like I said, I'm making rules so I don't go too deep down this rabbit hole. Like I said, I'm only getting those key characters. And for this room, we're going to stick to just right there. Those 4 females, my top 4. So let's see what the future of J&D holds. They don't release too many statues a year. I feel like it's like 3 statues a year, if that. So let's see what they're doing next. I believe they're doing a Man of Steel. And I'm not sure, honestly, what else. But I'm definitely going to keep my eye a lot more open at them. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, if anyone is interested in Prime 1 Catwoman, just, you know, message me on Instagram or Facebook. All the information is in the description below. And I can ship her pretty much same day paid. I just have to find the box, honestly. And I will see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. Alrighty, before we do end this video, I did want to show you guys a few Photoshops. I did mock-ups, you know, a few hours after the video. It's kind of hard to do the Photoshop on that angle, but this is kind of the idea. The Justice League can end right there when they're up and down, and then Darkseid and Steppenwolf should have enough space to fit Black Adam because he's not super wide, and I could do up and down for him, like him back, Shazam forward right there. And then this will be the DC line. Like, this is my entire Dark Knight Rises. The Joker bust, Joker, Bane, Batman, Catwoman, and then all those props up there. And I think that looks fantastic. And then this is what this wall will look like. So Shazam will be next to Harley, and then this is the Harley display with Joker there. And that should fit really nicely. This is just to show a size comparison of Aquaman there. That is the T1000 I'm getting. Let me see. All right, and this is where Deadshot is. He goes directly behind Joker. So we get to keep Deadshot, still have the entire line, and then this will be the JND line setup. They'll all be on risers. Different than that, it's just going to be like a square rectangle 2 inches tall or 3 inches tall, but that is the general look. I love it. I've already locked down Harley and Wonder Woman, and I'm securing Amara shortly. So we're going to have all on PO officially. So there you have it, folks. I just wanted to show you the Photoshops, and see you on the next one.